I tighten my grip around the glass of water until my knuckles turn pale, Lena's words hanging in the air like a decision that was never mine to make. So next week I'll move in with you, she says with a bright, friendly smile, as if she's announcing something exciting. Like a new gym membership, everyone should celebrate. Like this plan has already been agreed upon. Beside me, my father Richard casually opens a bottle of champagne. The soft pop echoes under the chandelier. My mother's formal china shines beneath the warm light, plates arranged with uncomfortable precision. Crystal glasses appear on the table, polished and perfect. Everything suddenly feels too formal for an ordinary dinner. Lena calmly takes the seat at the head of the table, like she belongs there. And in that moment, the realization hits me. This was never just a family dinner. This was a setup. I've already started packing some things, Lena continues cheerfully, accepting the glass of champagne my father hands her. Moving everything should only take a day. My parents exchange pleased looks. The kind of silent agreement people share when the plan has already been approved. Approved by everyone except me. My father raises his glass slightly. To a new beginning, he says warmly. Everyone lifts their glasses. Everyone except me. Suddenly the boxes I discovered in the garage a few days ago make perfect sense. Large plastic containers neatly labeled in black marker. Lena winter clothes. Lena books. When I asked her about them earlier, she laughed it off. Temporary storage, she said casually. Nothing important. I should have been more careful. Just like a few weeks ago when I asked my parents if it really made sense for me to keep helping Lena pay her rent again this year. She's going through a difficult time, my mother Diane had said gently. Family helps family. Those words sounded noble back then. Now they feel like quiet pressure tightening around my life. I slowly place my glass back on the table and reach for my purse. My hands tremble slightly, but not from fear. From anger. Lena tilts her head and studies my expression. Why do you look so serious? She laughs softly. This is good news for both of us. She gestures between us. You'll have company, and I'll finally save some money. Inside my purse, my fingers find the thick envelope I almost left in the car earlier tonight. For a moment I hesitate. But something about this dinner makes the timing feel exactly right. Calmly, I place the envelope in the center of the table. Actually, I say evenly, I have some news too. My mother's smile fades immediately. My father slowly lowers his glass. What kind of news? She asks sharply. I lean back slightly in my chair and pull the documents from the envelope. This, I say quietly, placing the papers on the table, is the purchase agreement for my house. The room falls completely silent. I sold it last week. For a moment no one moves. Then Lena's champagne glass slips from her hand and shatters on the floor. The sharp sound cuts through the quiet room. No one rushes to clean the glass. What did you just say? Lena whispers, staring at me in disbelief. My father looks at me as if he's certain he misunderstood something. My mother's expression changes instantly, her eyes narrowing. You can cancel that, my father says quickly, waving his hand dismissively. There's always a cooling off period for things like this. My mother nods as if the solution is already obvious. We already promised Lena she could stay with you, she explains calmly. She just needs a little time to get back on her feet. Before I can respond, my Aunt Margaret speaks from the far end of the table. We were actually planning to move most of Lena's things next week, she says casually. While you're at work. Just to make everything easier. For a moment I can't breathe. They weren't asking. They were organizing my life without me. My father straightens in his chair, his voice becoming firmer. And what about your property taxes? He asks. You know I usually help with those. The message is clear. Cooperate or lose the little support he offers. My mother softens her voice, wrapping the same pressure in concern. Clara, she says gently, this isn't like you. Selling your house so suddenly, are you feeling okay? There it is. If I refuse to cooperate, I must be unstable. You did this on purpose, Lena suddenly says, tears forming in her eyes. You found out I needed somewhere to stay and sold the house just to hurt me. The accusation lands like a punch. In their version of the story, I'm already the villain. I could explain everything. The roof that needed replacing. The broken water line that flooded the basement. The heating system that failed in the middle of winter. The repair bills that slowly drained every dollar from my savings. But what would be the point? They've already decided who I am. I made this decision for my own reasons, I say quietly. And it's final. So you're just leaving your sister homeless? My mother snaps. Lena isn't homeless, I reply calmly. She has an apartment. And if that doesn't work, she has your spare bedroom. My father taps his hand against the table, clearly irritated. Family helps family, he repeats firmly. Under the table, someone gently squeezes my hand. I glance sideways. My mother's friend Dorothy avoids everyone's eyes as she whispers quietly, "Good for you." The phone calls start 2 days later. By noon, I've heard from Aunt Margaret, Uncle Peter, my cousin Nina, and even one of my father's golfing friends. All repeating the same story. That I sold my house out of spite. That Lena was about to be homeless. That I abandoned my family. By Thursday, the story reaches my office. My co-worker Megan stops by my desk with a careful expression. I ran into your sister this morning, she says softly. She told me what happened. She hesitates before continuing. If she needs temporary housing, my church might know someone who could help. I stare at her for a moment. Lena isn't homeless, I say carefully. She has an apartment and 2 parents with a 4-bedroom house. That night I stand alone in my quiet kitchen and spread the repair paperwork across the table. Roof replacement. Waterline repair. A failing heating system. The numbers tell the real story. My emergency fund is gone. My savings are gone. Selling the house wasn't revenge. It was survival. Saturday afternoon, my parents arrive unannounced, Lena standing behind them. They step into the half-packed house and stare at the boxes stacked against the walls. You're really doing this, my mother says in disbelief. I wrap another plate in newspaper and continue packing. The closing is in a few weeks, I say calmly. Your sister needs you, she insists. I place the dish down and finally meet her eyes. Did anyone ask what I need? The room goes silent. I need financial stability, I say slowly. I need sleep. I need to stop living in fear of the next repair bill. And I need all of you to stop treating my life like it only exists to fix Lena's problems. No one answers. For the first time, I don't rush to fill the silence. I simply keep packing. Box after box. And somewhere between sealing another cardboard lid and carrying another box to the hallway, I realize something important. I'm not waiting for their permission anymore. I'm leaving. And this time I'm finally choosing myself.